locomotive, did we show the wheels? Was that part of it? Did we show the wheels that we had back there, the axle set?
I don't think so, not yet, no.
Oh, okay. So we have to look at all of this and see what needs to be done. This one here had a oil deficiency. This is on an HK Porter locomotive, a little narrow gauge switcher, but was a mainline use. I mean, you could call it a switcher. Generally, they do for shorter ones. It's a 040 is what it is. And it's at, they call it number one because it was the number one locomotive for the Tanana Valley Railroad, which the Friends of the Tanana Valley Railroad are the ones that run it. And they run that at Pioneer Park. It is an actual steam locomotive that uses coal, good solid fuel. And anyway, this one had oil starvation and totally burnt all of the bronze away and just gone. Some of the other ones, we have 3 other ones here. This is really not that bad, but I'm going to measure stuff out and see what it all looks like as far as to fix this. Part of the problem that they've got also is the thrust surface on the sides of these, which they were using just some plastic to keep it going. That one was not hitting a thrust surface at all. Why do we only have 3 of these here? Because there's one right there. It's a bigger table. And yeah, this one here, you can see thrust surface on the wheel as it was coming to it occasionally, which this side of the cast iron is supposed to be a thrust surface, but it's got too much thrust, too much clearance in the thrust. The axles were walking back and forth a lot. And so what I'm going to do first is just take and measure everything and see what we've got. And interesting little holes there, filled up with brass, bronze. They said they'd poured bronze in here, was one of the things, and it looked like it was done just with putting brass on, but they may have poured. I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure how they got that in there. I don't know that it needs to be poured. I think we could do just fine with a nice piece of bronze and silver braze it in there, because it ain't going to move. I think you could actually make one that would be a lock-in replaceable piece too, which is more what I've seen in some of the old catalogs for larger locomotives. I don't know on a small one like this, since this is not that huge of a piece, if they just considered this expendable and threw these out as they would replace the brasses. But on some of the bigger ones, they just have a half shell that just slides in and then it's captured once everything's put together. So I don't know for sure. But yeah, the locomotive came up here in 1905. It was originally built in 1899, and they had it going again on its birthday, 100-year birthday in 1999. They had it out there on the tracks running to start ferrying people around, and they continually do little repairs and work. And anyway, they're having me look at what do we need to do, because it's currently not at the park being used. That oil failure on that one journal, and that was about late spring, fairly early it quit being there. These are the connecting rod journals. The tires could use some dressing. They were actually thinking that they'd like to have new tires. That doesn't look as bad as the other one. This is actually not that bad. Some of these is just terrible, grooved out and wore down. The thrust surfaces, you can see this in here, where it's not what it should be as far as the surface and clearance. You have a little bit there and all wore down and not straight. What we will probably do there is face that off and then make a 2-piece that'll go in there, and we'll screw a new piece on to bring it out however much we figure they need to be. But we'll measure over. I've already taken measurements down at the railroad depot for the frame. Then we've got those bearing inserts. We'll measure the outside, we'll measure the inside, we'll measure from the outside to the inside so that we can see how much offset there is. It might be that one side needs more than the other to get the correct amount of thrust surfaces in there. And you also, because suspension on a locomotive does move, there is some movement. One of these is pretty much solid with the frame, but the other one has a little movement so that you can keep your wheels on the track. It's not just, and it's all mounted on springs. There's springs that hold the weight down. So that suspension movement means that distance, as these are going straight up and down, when you're crooked, you have to have a little bit extra movement there. It's not a matter of just this is a wheel set, we give it 10 thousandths and it goes up and down. No, it's going to be able to move a little bit crooked as you go around. There's, tracks will be a little bit crooked this way, movement back and forth in between track joints and things. It's not a lot, but definitely have to consider that for how much distance to leave in between them.